Indecisive Cinema, episode 12.
Episode 12. This is the incomparable Jeremy Knight. Well, no, not me, him.
I'm Jeremy
He's
Knight.
Jeremy Knight.
And you are? What is your name?
My name is Carlos Jose James Hernandez. Old-time film historian. And I'm here with filmmaker Jeremy Knight. New-time filmmaker Jeremy Knight. So it gives us this kind of like TV show thing where you're the lead of the show and you're this young guy and you go to the old guy
for information.
And he's always on a case.
I'm the front runner.
He's the front runner. And but that's us, and we're episode 12, which is a lot of episodes.
Good.
We've done
stuff.
really good. Yeah.
We had a little setback in the middle of that, but for good reason, I think.
Yes.
But we are back in action.
Back in action.
We've been a couple weeks in a row now,
and nobody. You said that nobody's commenting and calling yet. No.
Which is expected. But
something has to happen to make this show turn.
Our friends just need to step up their game.
Yeah, right? Serious, bro.
Yeah, I'm calling out all of you.
Yeah, I'm going to make Lisa do it. Lisa will do a comment on it and we'll get on a read.
But anyway, so every week we pick a topic, and whether it's a director or we generally review. I like to see at least one new or like relevant thing each week. But we're not critics, so we can't get into all kinds of screenings. Yeah. I did get into a screening for Unfollowed or Unfriended. Or I keep forgetting which one it is.
Get that name
and
right.
Then I also got into a screening of The Truth with James Franco and Jonah Hill. We'll see what those look up. We generally can't get into screenings. It's not something that
we do.
And so because we just pick topics and we talk about them, and always related to movies or television or general entertainment, stuff like that. And, we talk about the latest celebrity mishaps. No. But we always pick. Like, this week we're going to do top 10 horror films, and we're just talk about horror as a genre in general, and kind of where it started and where it's gone.
The list.
And we both have lists. Carlos did a top 10.
Yeah.
And they are in order.
They are in order. Yeah.
Mine is not in order, and I prepped last minute. I've been kind of busy, so
understood.
I did not prep a list, and so I have a list, but it's in no particular order. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. First, we're going to get to some movies. We have and some movie news. We've got and some Blu-ray releases. We've got a lot of stuff that we're going to cram into 50 minutes in order to get that out of the way before Lisa gets here with Carlos's new couch.
We're gonna get reclining couch. Which, can't wait.
I like your old couch though.
Yeah, look at it. It's in pieces now.
That's a problem. Did it break or something, or is it?
No. Well, yeah, it broke. Remember when you came last when you were sick? Your side was fine. That side, but this side, I was propping up with 2 toy boxes that I stole from my daughters, and my weight finally gave in. The toy boxes broke down too, and so I was just like literally sliding. I was slanted, watching TV, sliding onto the floor, and so we were at a resale shop, and so we walked in. They had just brought in a reclining couch with 2 reclining chairs on the ends.
Nice. So
we could fit 5 people very comfortably.
Good.
So all reclined, watching BoobTube, and my house I celebrate film. So next time Jeremy comes, just not to do business, which this is business, but it's fun. But to watch a film and just hang out, we get to be in reclining chairs and
be all comfortable and stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait. I haven't been in a comfortable seating area since like 1922. But finally we got that.
He's an old man.
I'm an old man.
He's an old gentleman.
So so we're gonna do that after the show. But the show sounds good. I love Liz. Jeremy, do you love Liz?
I really love Liz.
Yeah, I love Liz. Delano done again, and I know it sounds like was going to do it, and it was all set last night. He was texting me all nervous about the list. He didn't want to sound redundant like we used to do. But it's toward the end of the school year, and he has a crit, one of his professors, so he couldn't make it again. But he actually wanted to do it later on tonight, but Jeremy has engagement this evening.
I'm going to meet with a film friend of mine. So
a film friend? Is it a male friend or a female friend? I was going to set this up.
No, his name is Melvin Harris. Shout out to Melvin.
What's Melvin Harris. I like that name.
He knows way more about anything than I do.
Good.
Very talented dude. Oh yeah.
And you guys going to hang out, grab a beer, what?
No, we're just going to get coffee and talk business.
Oh, good.
We're going to shoot some films.
This is very good. I'm very proud.
Trying to make some creative stuff happen.
Just guys, I don't make films anymore, but I'm very proud of Jeremy doing films. And this sounds good. I'm glad I hope this works out.
That'd be good.
And
I also have all my new equipment.
That's right. Did we talk about that? You got all the new equipment?
I don't know.
No, we didn't talk about it on the show.
I bought it last week, but
yeah.
I finally have everything in. I spent I spent a stupid amount of money buying some equipment that I really needed for my business. I absolutely
it's for a business. It's for good stuff.
Yeah, and it's good stuff. And now I finally have. I mean, I still have a grocery list of things that I would totally love to have. Things I still need too.
Of course.
But I'm pretty close. Close.
By this time next year, Jeremy's name won't only be on the podcast. You'll hear about him everywhere, and let's see what happens.
I'm trying to start producing some shorts and whatnot.
Yes,
so we'll see. Yes. But we will continue doing the podcast though for sure.
For sure, definitely. In the meantime, until one of us die, I guess.
Keep an eye out for shorts directed by Jeremy Knight.
JK Productions. So
we'll get down to it. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about, and little time to do so.
So movie news. What we got?
Movie news. So my first piece of news. So anytime that Ben Wheatley shows up in the news world, I have to talk about it. So his new film, Ben Wheatley's a UK director that I really really love. We've talked about it way too many times. Everybody's sick and tired of hearing me talk about Ben Wheatley. But we're going to talk about him some more because they just got a new composer. It's the Clint Mansell, I'm assuming, is the composer of Black Swan. Is doing the new score for High Rise, Ben Wheatley's new film. This movie is going to be awesome because we've got a bunch of people, and the cast is great. Your typical writers are involved. Ben Wheatley's involved in the directing chair. And then now you've got like just great talent behind the camera come in to do the post work on it and stuff like that. This movie's gonna be awesome. I mean, especially like I think that totally fits Ben Wheatley's vibe. I mean, at least from what I know of this, it's a book. The High Rise is based off a novel. I don't know the name of the author, but it's about a life for the residents of a tower block begins to run out of control. So I'm assuming it's going to be at least a thriller. I don't know if it'll be a full horror or not, but that composer was perfect for his tone, I think, in general, because Black Swan, I think, is just it's really great, just kind of off, like, unsettling score. And like you've got Jeremy Irons, Tom Hiddleston, Sienna
Miller,
Luke Evans, Elizabeth Moss, who I love a lot. You have just a great cast of people for a director who really hasn't had a whole lot of commercial success.
Definitely.
So this is exciting for me. As a fan, but so moving on. That's good stuff. And then Fast 7 made $1 billion. They didn't actually make $1 billion. It made like 400 million or something like that. That was worldwide, but that was just this weekend. Oh, good Lord, that's so much money.
Paul Walker.
And you know what? It really well received though by critics. Apparently, it is very good. It ain't gonna win Best Picture.
No, of course not.
Vin Diesel.
It has a car.
It's not gonna happen.
Crashing out of one building and flying across the street to another.
Put more.
And I need this. I know, right?
So I have something to admit. I have never seen a Fast and Furious movie.
Me? I have not. No, I have not either. I never have. But that car scene, I really do want to see.
See, I love everyone in it. I love The Rock. I think he's just, The Rock. He should be in anything that he's in.
His SNL performance was really good too.
I haven't seen that though.
You see it a couple of weeks ago. He's really good.
I do not really watch SNL though week to week.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're not from New York. I think you're Chicago.
My family does though. I mean, I think my family does.
Oh, do they?
Everybody, everybody I know that's over the age of 30 does. I just don't.
You have a few more years, bro.
Well, a few more years, like a full decade to go.
A decade of years, then.
A decade of years.
He was good. Rock is good. Almost. I mean, I loved him in The Other Guys.
He's on Vine now. He has a Vine, and
that's right.
He posts some really funny shit on there.
He does. He's good.
Like he's just such a likable dude. So like I said, and then I like Vin Diesel. I don't think he's a great actor, but it's same with like Schwarzenegger, any of those big
he's good as Groot. So far, I like his
group. That was great. I mean,
and I love Riddick. I'm a big fan of Riddick.
Really, I haven't seen
Pitch Black. It's Pitch Black, which is genius.
I remember
Chronicles
seeing
of Riddick was alright, but then Riddick was really good. I did like.
I haven't seen the last one. The most recent one.
Yeah, that's Riddick.
I do own the trilogy with like the animated one in the middle or whatever.
Did you see that one? I didn't see that either.
The Pitch Black is. I'd have to revisit those to have an opinion now because it's been so long since I've seen them.
Oh my god, how long has it been? 15 years, maybe?
I mean, I don't know if they hold up at all. I remember liking Pitch Black a lot more, though. Yeah. That was one of the first rated R films I ever saw, actually.
Oh, yeah. And it was really good. It had an alien vibe and, had Vin Diesel kicking ass.
Cool style. It's just a cool movie.
It was. I liked it.
Nothing special, I don't think, in terms of the story or anything.
No.
It's just like it's been that premise has been redone so much. That's not a problem really. It's just
no.
I don't know. It's fine, but yeah, I like I said, I like everyone in Fast 7 or all the Fast and Furious movies for that matter. I've never really been a huge fan of Paul Walker, rest in peace. But
me.
And so like I just have never had any interest to see. I'm not a big cars guy. Certainly not a racing person.
And I think I've mentioned he has a movie on Netflix. It's my only Paul Walker film like you, called The Hours.
Oh,
and it's supposedly based on a true story of Katrina, where a guy babysits his daughter who is stuck on life support during Katrina, and he has to keep her going. And stuff. I mean, I don't know how it's not based on a true story.
Isn't it like Nicole Kidman? Is it the same one with her?
I don't think she's in it. I think this movie basically is him in the movie by himself with some bad guys here and there. But other than that,
oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Oh no, Nicole Kidman's in The Hours, based on famous
with Meryl
artists.
Streep.
Yeah, Meryl Streep.
That's what I was thinking of. It's Hours. It's
Hours. Not The. You're right. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I got those confused.
No, you're right.
I know the cover though. It's on on Netflix. Yeah.
So that's a big film with him too. Before he passed.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. I mean, I have no real opinion on it, but it made a bunch of money though, and I like to see that. I like to see movies be successful, especially when they're well reviewed. I mean, it's not those movies are just getting better, is what I've heard. Apparently Fast 6 was like really just a solid dumb action film.
After 5, they started building and
they only hire a new director. I think didn't James Wan direct this?
James Wan, like the Saw James Wan?
I heard that and I was like,
click on this now, go to IMDb and see if your information is 100%.
Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but I read that somewhere and was like, no.
I see him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Furious 7.
Look, and I just typed his name,
which is interesting. I'll give him credit. All of his films have a style to it. I mean, they have that same look. But I do like him as a director quite a bit. I think he makes a really low budget. The Conjuring is really good. I did like Insidious a lot.
Insidious, one of my favorite.
Not perfect, but I mean, Death Sentence is actually pretty fun.
I like that. I had Death Sentence.
Yeah, I forgot about
Dead Silence.
That's an interesting movie.
And check out this. What is it called? The new Conjuring is called The Enfield Poltergeist. For real?
Yeah, whatever. like I said, I like the tone. I like all of his films are pretty unsettling, even if they're never perfect or anything. I think Conjuring is probably his best movie.
I agree.
I do like the first Saw. He's
the first
good director.
Really,
very good director. Like that makes a huge difference though for a franchise though. Like hire some good directors that aren't big budget Hollywood directors to make some of these franchise films. Hire somebody like James Wan or it's a great pick.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, we need to move on. So we watched 3 trailers or 2. 3. We watched the Insidious trailer, it was more of a preview.
That was a preview, yeah.
I don't know if I care about this series anymore. The previews, I'm really tired of. I do like the. If for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's the Insidious Chapter 3. They posted like a 2-minute. It's basically just a scene from the movie where
wasn't that creepy?
The old woman that the one that comes the psychic that comes in and does her thing and all. I haven't seen the second one yet. Actually, I started watching. I liked what I saw. It's on Netflix. I never finished it.
Yeah,
but,
you should.
I like it. Like I said, I like what's her name.
Rose Byrne.
Yeah. I like I said, I like James Wan. Yeah. But I haven't finished the second one. But so I don't know if she's in all 3.
No,
now.
This one is a totally different story.
Okay, and it has a different director. It's the director who wrote, or he's not. It's his first time directing, I think. He's the writer though of Saw and Insidious and all of the James Wan stuff.
Lee Winnell.
Yes.
Yes, Lee Winnell.
Yes, Lee Winnell. And so he's directing. We'll see how that works. But I don't know if I like the casting though. The girl from Insurgent in there.
Is that what she is? I didn't know that.
I don't know if she kind of has that Disney princess look.
She does.
She looks like somebody who was on. She might have been. I don't know. I'm just calling this. I don't even know her name to be honest. But she just kind of has that look. Which is totally fun. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't know that she has a good place. I don't know if she's a good fit for this horror film, but whatever. And then we saw the trailer for The Gift, which is Joel Edgerton's new movie. This looks really dumb. It actually looks. When I heard that I really like Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, no, I know you do. I know you do.
Not so much. He writes and he also directs sometimes. This may be his first time directing, but he does write a lot. I don't know for sure, but I like him a lot as an actor. He's a great screen presence. I think he should work more. He does work a lot. But he's kind of that guy. He has that kind of. he doesn't have a really memorable face, and so he does a lot of roles where like I think isn't he in 0 Dark 30?
He is in 0
and
Dark 30.
Like it was one of those that there's a lot of people in that movie though. To be fair, that like Chris Pratt is also in that, and like
he's also in Prometheus.
Joel Egerton is?
That, oh no, that's not him. No, that's the other guy, the Irish guy. Yeah,
okay.
You're right. I take it back.
No, you're good. But yeah, he shows up all the time though in like these supporting roles and like just is unrecognizable all the time. Joel Egerton, but he's really good. I like him a lot, and he's directing a film. It stars Jason Bateman and what's her name? I don't know.
She's a cute chick. I like that girl. But
it's
really funny you didn't like it. I liked it.
It looks fine. Now Rebecca Hall, she plays the wife of Jason Bateman, or that girlfriend and wife, I think, Jason Bateman in the movie.
He's in the Thing remake.
It reminds me of Cape Fear almost a little bit, just in kind of that like creepy dude kind of starts to kind of work his way. Now Cape Fear looks. They're kind of selling it as a horror film, but it looks more like a thriller. And that kind of balance, I don't know if that works. I don't know if it doesn't really. I don't know if it doesn't look like it goes full horror.
Probably not. Yeah.
And so then it's just kind of, I don't know. We'll see. Tone wise, it's kind of hard to tell from the trailer, but if it doesn't nail that right, this could be a really stupid movie. Like it's just one of those things that like just the premise isn't. It's been done before, which is fine. It's all about execution, of course. I love Jason Bateman though. They're Rebecca Hall. They're good cast. Joel Egerton plays this weird dude that starts like kind of following them around.
Yeah.
And then he works his way into his life a little bit more. I just don't know that that's.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's not your bag.
We need you to stay. We need you to break up with him. Like that whole thing is just really stupid.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see. Like I said, I like Joel Egerton. I will see it. I will see this movie. It doesn't look terrible.
I like Jason Bateman in dramas. There's a movie that I saw when I first got cable back. Disconnected.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
It's kind of a passion project for him, is what he said.
Yeah, it was really good.
The promotion for it. I heard mixed stuff, but a lot of people said it was pretty good.
I liked it. So I might like this movie that you don't, which is interesting.
Well, but it's just a trailer.
Yeah,
so like I said, I like everyone involved, so I'll definitely see it. And then for you, this is interesting news. I don't know if you've already heard this, but David Lynch dropped out of the Twin Peaks.
Yes, and this is driving me insane. I'm going to speak about it. Jeremy wasn't born.
Do your thing. I have not seen Twin Peaks.
Jeremy wasn't born. I
on my list of things to watch.
I think I've said this before. When I rank television series, the number one TV show of all time, I rank Twin Peaks. It changed the face of how we watch television. It was one of the most adult shows on TV, and it's also one of my first cult things I ever enjoyed. When I heard last year that it was going to come back to Showtime, as was said in the last episode, we'll see each other 25 years. Later, I went insane. I was so happy. Funnily enough, I was on the Showtime website because everyone knows I work for Dish, and I went to the Showtime website, and it's listed as their shows for 2016. So apparently, I heard about a week ago that David Lynch keeps saying that he doesn't think he'll make it in time for the 25 years, but he could get it there for 26 years. Maybe it might be a method to his madness. Who knows? He's older. He is getting up there, but he said that it'll probably be a year late. That's what he said, and he said that's
better than I would rather them take their time with it than.
I mean, it's David Lynch. He's a genius, and so Showtime is like, no, we're going to do it in like 2016, and so David Lynch says, well, if you're going to rush me, then fuck you, I'm dropping out.
Yep.
And he dropped out, and now luckily I saw today when that happened. I first was very angry and very upset because they said we're still going to do it, but he ain't going to be in it. And then I was like, what? And then finally, today, the lesser known stars, but hopefully it builds.
Yeah.
Like Kimmy Robertson and what's her name? The one who played Laura Palmer. They all started saying, well, if he's not going to be directing and writing, I'm not going to be in it.
Yeah.
So let's hope that this puts a fire in the Showtime's ass to then relax, give him the extra year that he wants, so we can actually see the genius that is David Lynch of 6 years later.
Absolutely.
For Twin Peaks. And it's funny, if you go to the Showtime website, it's still listed as coming out in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
And they got all the actors involved. It still says directed by David Lynch. But yeah, I mean, that's another big business of going to push out the creator just, to make money or to get people to... this was actually, I don't know if you knew, there was a lot of stuff behind Showtime. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of contract negotiations with Dish we actually had. And one of their biggest things to get the money they wanted was saying that Twin Peaks was coming back to Showtime. And I don't know if you know. I mean, I know Jeremy. I always call him a hipster, but he's not really, really hipster. All the hipsters were buying Showtime, calling up this and saying, "I want Showtime. I want to be ready for Twin Peaks 2016." It was an interesting move, and people were calling to get Showtime again so they can watch Twin Peaks. So it was interesting.
Showtime's going away, bro.
I mean, yeah,
Twin Peaks ain't gonna keep it around. Showtime, and not saying going away like out of business.
No.
I'm
I
saying
know what you're saying. Yeah.
They're breaking away like HBO.
Yeah, they are. And
like they should, like everyone should.
Yeah, HBO. They're still doing their streaming thing, but they did cut a deal also with Dish the other day. They cut a deal, and we got back HBO and Cinemax. But there was a minute there where a lot of the paid TV people were like, "Oh shit, we can't miss out on Game of Thrones. It starts this weekend."
That's a huge.
My sister was bothering me. Oh, how can I see it? How can I see it? And I told her, I said, "Well, I'm gonna get HBO Go for I think it's $10 a month
now. It's HBO Now.
HBO Now." And I actually signed up for it. I even got the email a day before they gave in that said, "You are now subscribed to HBO Now. We will tell you how much products are." And then boom, the next day they cut the deal with all the pay TV. So now HBO Now is going forward, but it's not going to be as a hot commodity as it would have been. You know, people still could get it on their cable channel. So, but I am excited about Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope that they wait for director David Lynch.
I think that's what the fans want. I think we've gotten to a point with the internet and everything that I think the fans do have a voice in these kinds of things. I mean, especially when it comes to cult stuff. I mean, I think we'll probably get what we want. I mean, I think it's gotten to a point where if the fans all say no, just let him do his thing.
Exactly,
we want David Lynch back.
Agreed.
It'll happen.
But I also think Kyle MacLachlan and Michael Onkian should say, "Listen, we want to wait for David Lynch, so let's do this 2017."
Because rushing things out has never worked.
Yeah, never works.
Really, it just never works to the full potential at least.
Agreed.
So anyway, that's all
glad
from
you
our
brought that
news.
up
It took a
to me,
while, but that was a big piece that we needed to cover. And we're moving on to movies. So we've got 5 things to talk about. I saw 2. One of which is a revisit. Interstellar came out on Blu-ray. So Blu-ray review is kind of. Picture quality, I think, is. I'm not gonna, a lot of people to go into in detail about all the extras and stuff. I haven't had time to go through all the extras. You know, barely had time to watch the 3-hour movie. You know, but picture quality is all that fine. I think it holds up. This is the 3rd time I've seen the movie. I understand I understand the complaints that people had. Even the stupid one about the aspect ratio switching from IMAX to 16:9 on your television, or not 16:9. It's like 2:3:5 or something like that. Whatever the cinescope, but a lot of people complain that that's such a stupid complaint. But I understand the complaints about the dialogue and stuff like that. But I just think this movie is incredible. I think it's it holds up on your home television. I made my family watch it. We sat. I forced them to turn off all the lights because they couldn't see in the theater. So I was like, turn off all the lights. Phones need to go in the bedrooms, and let's watch this. And
how big is your screen?
We have just a 50-inch plasma. And all of you plasma haters, you're wrong. Plasma is the way to go. It's no longer really a thing, but I love my plasma TV. But it's for those of you who like movies, you should go plasma. But no, so I mean, I think it's really, really an incredible movie. I think it's flawed, of course. No movie's perfect, but I just think some of the complaints, even the ones I agree with. There's some eye-rolling dialogue in it. There's the line about the MRI machine thing, which is just like it's stupid. It's really dumb. It's really heavy-handed and just out of place. The script isn't perfect. I think it's held up though by really great performances from everyone, and I think it's really just a genuinely emotionally draining. Oops, I'm just gonna drop my phone. Just an emotionally draining and moving and just incredible cinematic experience. Like I said, it is flawed. I mean, the more times I see it, the more things that I go, yeah, I get it. But I still think it accomplishes so much that I think think it's just an outstanding achievement. It's not his best film. I still don't think that.
Yeah.
But I think it like now I've seen it 3 times. I love this movie. Like I know I do.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I was just on the hype train about it. I think it's really incredible. It's really special.
It was good.
And the Blu-ray picture quality is great. It is more.
Did you get your film show?
Yes, I did. I got Anne Hathaway like looking at the camera and smiling, which is cool. I like it. I like the film. Cool. I love the idea. The film cell thing is cool too. Because it comes the way it comes. It comes in like a little. It's like the size of your iPhone, and like it has like a package around it that kind of keeps it protected.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pull it out, but I don't know why you would.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's. I love that idea. I do wish the film. I don't know if the film cells were in the steelbooks that they released. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge steelbook fan. I just love the artwork of the steelbooks, and I like how they look on my shelf. They take up less space generally than bigger box sets and things like that. And like obviously, I like the extras and stuff like that. I like the packaging of like the thicker collector sets, but I do love the artwork of the steelbooks and. But I don't think the film cell came in the steelbook. I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Interesting though.
Yeah, but all the others have the film cell. And they have, you get your. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo.
See, my boy White, Joe would have bought both, just to get.
I just can't afford them. I mean, it's
I know, but I mean, collectors are collectors. It's interesting because.
Well, but I'm not a.
I know you're not.
I'm not crazy.
So why did you buy the still case? Because you wanted to sell?
I wanted to sell, yeah.
So then shut up, you're a collector.
No, I am. I'm just not to the same degree.
Yeah, to everybody. Yeah, I know.
Like because I hate to call myself a collector because real collectors would go.
Yeah, right. They'd be like, "You're a collector. I'm a collector." But yeah,
Carlos is getting up, and walking, shaking his legs out.
My underwear is going on my ball. There.
A lovely little piece of information for you.
TMI.
People at home. But no, I really think,
but are we both buying the Babadook special?
Hell yeah, we are. No, I love box sets though. But
no, so do I. You know me.
But I'm not like, there's very few movies that I have like every edition of. Like Big Lebowski's one.
You say you do have
fiction, other than like VHS. But if I found one at a shop, I'd buy it.
I forgot to tell you that Rhonda's father gave us like a bunch of VHS. I'm not. I read throughout the VCR because I'm like, we're gonna plug in the VCR. But I'm looking at these cassettes and I'm like, oh man, these are like really good artwork. And stuff.
Exactly.
I kept like the original Star Wars, the original Return of the Jedi.
That's awesome. I would love that kind of stuff. I'd hold on to that.
Yeah, that stuff I put over there.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like. I've moved to Blu-ray completely. I don't really buy DVDs other than like independent stuff that I can't buy.
That's what I was gonna say. Things that you can't.
But then the moment it comes on Blu-ray, I will buy. I will buy the Blu-ray. But those of you that think there's no difference between Blu-ray and DVD, you're wrong.
Insane.
You're so wrong. I worked at Best Buy for a long time, and you have those people that are like, you can't even see the difference. Like, no, you can.
I remember there's a difference my first
between
Blu-ray
standard definition and HD.
That I watched on my Blu-ray player was Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
and it was unbelievable. I was like, holy cow, it's so crisp and clear, and I was like, get out of here with that. So I've never bought Blu-ray again. I agree with you. I want
or DVD. You mean?
Well, I mean, yes. I'm sorry. I'll never buy nothing but Blu-ray ever again.
Yeah, it's they take up less space on a shelf, which is huge. Makes a big. I mean, it's a huge difference though. Yeah. I mean, you can fit. I can fit 50 movies on a shelf rather than 25.
25.
I mean, it's a huge difference. And so, for those of you that have a lot of movies and want to keep space and have better picture quality, better extras, and a lot of times you get the DVD copy of it as well.
With it, I don't have to worry about it.
Get a Blu-ray player. Get an HD television.
Do you think that people don't have Blu-ray players?
You know what? I worked at Best Buy for a year and a half, and
people would tell you,
what's the difference? I don't want to pay that much. It's $80 for a disc player. It's like you probably paid that much for your DVD player or whatever. A huge difference. But regardless, Interstellar looks great. Buy the Blu-ray. I really think if you watch the movie the first time in the theater, I do think it holds up on Blu-ray just from a standpoint of I think the story is great. I think the scope of it's still great, and I mean obviously it's not as mesmerizing of an experience on your home, depending on your setup at home. But I do think the movie holds up, and I still am really excited about this movie. And right after finishing watching it, I wanted to hear every piece. Like I got on the internet and just went and tried to find everything, every piece of information I could about it. And after listening to some interviews also with his Nolan's brother, what's his name?
Christopher Robert.
I don't know.
Richard.
I don't know. Well, yeah, the other the Nolan brother though that wrote the script, and I think Nolan single handedly directed it.
Yeah,
I don't think his brother got any directing credit, but he got a writing credit. I don't know what his name is, but he did an interview though, and I just was listening to him talk about the science behind it and everything like that. And I really think the movie is pretty Jonathan, Nolan. I think the movie, listening to some of the discussions with him, I really think the movie holds up in terms of the science. I do think I'm not a scientist. I'm a filmmaker, so obviously I'm more impressed by the technical, and when it comes to the filmmaking, the science stuff for me is just kind of an afterthought in regards of I'll think about it later. I'm just excited about what's on screen when I see something at least, and so this movie has plenty to look at, and it's I think it's really incredible. So yeah, that's I can't oversell Interstellar enough. I think everyone should see it. And if you've seen it once, I think you should see it again. And because I think it just sits better the second time through. It's not a flawless film, but certainly a good one.
Yeah. And
then I saw. Well, go ahead and do yours. You can do House's October Build. These are older films that are on Netflix, right?
These are movies. Yeah, this weekend on Netflix. I excitedly saw the trailer way back in October.
Is this more recent, or is this?
It was released in 2014.
Oh, okay. So
it was directed by.
This is actually relevant. Hooray! It's a thing we struggle with on a weekly basis, because neither of us has the money nor the time to go see everything new.
It's called The House is October Built. And me and my daughter had watched the trailer. We were very excited to see it. They finally came out on Netflix. And let me tell you, I will say this, everybody check it out. Like I said, scary, not really, unless I don't know what's the difference between scary and creepy. Creepy, 1,000,000,000%. And what I love about it is, when you go to IMDb and look it up, there's two listings. Is it a short film, or is it? It's no.
There's one from 2011, and there's one from...
Exactly. And if you read about the 2011, read about it. It's the documentary. The actual documentary. So when you look at that, you kind of say, okay, so is this true about what happened? And like I said, let's cut back. And again, I don't want to get too long. But
premise for is every October, 30 million people will visit.
But all right, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay. No, I just had it pulled up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should have said that. For basically, it's a film crew. They're into going to haunted houses, and they're trying to find the most extreme haunted houses, or haunted house, the ultimate haunted house, I should say. And in their quest to find it, it finds them. And I won't give away much, but I'll say this: we harken back to the Blair Witch. It wasn't the first found footage film, but it was, I think, the most popular and the one that started it all.
It's an important movie.
And like I said, we talked about this already. The whole basis behind it was: is this movie real or not? What I love about The House of October Built, you actually feel that when you watch it, because they have the documentary there as well. I mean, I don't know, it's not on Netflix. I don't know where you can get it. I guess probably Amazon has both.
Yeah.
But the actual documentary of trying to find the most extreme haunted house, it's out there.
Yeah.
And then you have this film that according as it opens with footage of crazy things that happen in haunted houses, and then it gives you the whole like all Blair Witch. The footage that the police found it's there. It's 90% is their footage that they filmed, like themselves, the background stuff.
Yeah. And
then the rest of it is shot by the Blue Skeleton Group, which it just says like nothing, and you assume, well, who is it? And then you find out, who they are. This is an extreme haunted house. So really good.
For those of you that don't know, like extreme haunted houses are a thing.
Yeah, and after watching this, me and Rhonda,
they sound really terrifying.
And this movie, like I said, and like you said, despite what you believe is real or not, like I said, they took footage of haunted houses.
Yeah.
And I could say, okay, I'll say this: the creepy little girl that doesn't let me sleep this past week, she's in obviously the ones that probably aren't the real houses.
Yeah.
But they do have footage of haunted houses that are friggin' scary.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wouldn't step foot in any of these.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, and I did not know this, I went and did. I don't remember where I saw it. I got a link from like probably Cracked or I don't know, one of those news
sources.
sources.
You're gonna scare me that you got a link that says come to this hotel.
No. It was talking about like the scariest haunted houses. It was just a list of like, and they were describing like what these houses, like there were certain ones that make you sign an agreement form that says we can touch you, and not inappropriately necessarily.
No, but yeah.
But like within, but like and they can't cause you physical harm.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
There's some
they talk about it.
Yeah, like there's rules that they can grab you and they can like tie you up and stuff like that.
And that's what they're saying, and I couldn't believe it because
that's a real thing though. These are
and again, and I don't mean to cut Jeremy off because when I was growing up. There was, in New York and Long Island and Long Branch, there was a place called the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
You could look it up online. You could see the commercial. Commercials fucking always scared me as a kid. But my friend Richie, my best friend Richie, went to one, and to this day, he don't talk about what happened. But I mean, literally, people were being either dying from heart attacks or being scared. But the most famous case why they shut the place down was they grabbed a young girl, I think she was 16 or 17. They brought her into a room. They tied her up. They put on a black robe, and then they did this like black mask around her. Now, the reason why they shut down because they were like, what did they have to do with the haunted house if no one saw this going on? And they say that there is a scene or a place in the house where you go and you see this black mask going on. But again, that's why they shut down because they say, why did they do that? But back then, they could literally grab you. And I remember everybody in the neighborhood saying, oh, yeah, I fucking punched that guy in the face because he grabbed me. And it became a thing where, okay, it's not only safe for us as people going in there, as consumers or customers, it's also unsafe for the guys. If someone punches you in your face for touching them or their girlfriend until they stopped all that. And then it's like now we live in Texas, and you both heard we're both Northerners trapped down in the South.
Trapped in the giant fucking state of Texas.
But the funny thing is, what got my daughter, which I luckily hooked her, that this movie was 100% real. Not saying it's not, because every single house they went to was in Texas, because Texas has the most extreme haunts. And it's like, it's funny because the one at the end ends up being somewhere in Louisiana. But they literally, every place they go, I kept saying, oh my God, they're getting closer to Houston.
Yeah.
And it's Texas. And finally when they get to Houston is when they find out about the Louisiana one and they take off. But it's like, my daughter is terrified because she refuses to go to these haunted houses. I want to go with her, but she's only 10.
But I wouldn't go to one of those.
And my boy's 20 years old.
But part of it is like you have to, apparently there's some that will basically say, all right, so you have to sign an agreement for the full night. You have to stay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, no,
I know what you're saying.
This is interesting though. It's like, and if you stay the whole night, you don't have to pay the money. It becomes free.
Yeah,
and like I said, I don't know which one this is. I think it was one in California or in San Francisco in particular, but I don't remember. But yeah, it was like, and there's some different ways where like you have to sign an agreement that you can't leave. Like it's like that's a thing, or they charge you, or there's an extra fee or something like that, and that's terrifying too. Like not being able to like not being able to leave. Like I just got because there's two things with what you're saying. There's an escape hatch. Like if you. And some of them, if you say, I can't do this no more, someone will lead you out the side door and let you go, and that's that. But it's a safe word. Basically.
Yeah, you have to say something and they'll let you out. Which I thought was cool because in New York, we went to some cheapy one, and one of the kids that we went with was scared, and they took him through like this little thing that let him out the side, because the mother was like, let him out the side. But one of the creepiest things, and it's why I that's why I started getting my goosebumps. Like in the movie, and it could happen anywhere because remember I was there, Jeremy and Carlos. It's like at one point one of the characters, Brandy, she's a girl. She goes into a room and it's getting really scary for her. She's calling out for them to take her out, and they're not. And she goes in the room and the girl says, "Brandy, you're going to die." And she freaked out because she's like, "How did they know my name?" And then the next room when she's running to get out, a clown starts saying her name. And I started saying, like right away, it's when you get, this is the movie portion. Yeah. But I said, no, because if you're there waiting online and you're talking, and you see them going up and down, those guys who scare you on the line, they could just pick up your name and say, okay, see that guy there? His name is this.
Yeah.
When he goes and say his name, because that's the fucking thing's going to freak you out the most. Yep. People you never saw before in your life mention your name in a creepy... And I thought that gave me the most goosebumps that night. And my daughter was like, I'm done. Get me out of this movie. And I was like, it's really good. But definitely... I recommend. I would love to see the documentary that they really shot. The House of October Built. It's on Netflix. I still have it in my queue because I want to watch it again.
And you should go online and read about some of this because it's legitimately a thing.
Yeah,
and it's interesting to listen to just some of the different horror stories.
Yeah, we got one
and
here
some
right
of the
off.
trailers that they have for the different places are like really
scary.
Like they look really because it's real. It's you can't fake fear.
Amen.
At least in a movie you can, but not in real life.
Not in real life.
It's a harder thing. It's easier said than done.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean it's that's interesting. I'll have to see it then for that.
Yeah, you got. I think you'll dig it.
That sounds cool. And then next I'm going to talk about Coherence, which is a a independent, really, really, really low budget independent film that came out. Really, it's credited at 2013, but it was really last year. A lot of people put it on their top 10 for last year. It is directed by the art director from the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which is kind of strange. He also wrote Rango with Johnny Depp.
Interesting, yeah.
Just a really obscure. I guess it's all Johnny Depp, which makes sense. Maybe he's friends with Johnny Depp. I don't know. The director's name is, if my phone would load,
James Ward Berkeley.
Yeah, James Ward. That's a strange name. But yeah, it's a cast full of nobodies for the most part, other than Maurice Sterling is the only one I recognize. He was
Nicholas Brendan from Buffy's in it. What are you talking about?
I haven't seen Buffy.
Oh,
so give me a break. Give me a break here.
And who's that old lady?
But Maurice Sterling though is in Homeland. That's the only thing I recognize him from.
Oh, is that where he's from?
So he's really the only
Elizabeth Grayson's.
Elizabeth Grayson, I recognize her, but lots of people, from like old school, like
80s
she's kind of like B movie stuff.
Yeah.
Really low budget. I don't know what the budget is. Let me look and see if that's on here. No, it just has what it made. But basically, the premise of it plays, and this is a comparison that everybody has made about it. So I'm not claiming this to be an original thought. But
is this on Netflix?
It's on Amazon. This is on Amazon.
Yeah, I see it.
It's essentially a Twilight Zone style. There's
that's really good.
Bunch of friends have a dinner party, and weird things start happening. There's a mention of, and this is not really a spoiler because it's mentioned throughout the whole film, but there's a comet that passes over, and weird things start happening, and the characters fully acknowledge what's happening and react to it, and it also that's part of the whole way this movie works, and it's a big. There's I don't want to spoil anything in this movie because I think not knowing what's going on is the fun of it for sure. It's a movie that you don't want to spoil. I think it's kind of still a movie that's hard to spoil because it's really complex. It makes a lot of sense I think by the end, but it's still fairly like just twisty and twisty. I would dare say confusing at times. But not in a bad way though. That might be a problem for some people, but I think it's interesting. There's some really cool things with objects and stuff like that just kind of I don't know. It's really well done. Really really low budget. Very ugly. This is a really ugly film. They probably shot it on DSLRs, like cheap like not cheap ones, but like the 5D Mark III or something like that, like a $3,000, like not a cinema camera, something that you could use for video, and it looks really video-y, and a lot of stuff's out of focus. It's like a really low budget, and like you can tell that they were probably shooting with multiple cameras, and they didn't really block out all the shots because I think a lot of it was kind of improvised. I was reading an interview with the director, and he was talking about how the actors didn't really. It was more of an outline. It's not mumblecore. It's not that. It's done similar to mumblecore. Where you kind of have a set outline and then you tell people like now react, like what would you do in this situation, and so because of that the cameramen kind of just have to keep up with the action and they don't really have the production to be able to do so there's like the stuff that's just out of focus completely like often and just like it's all over the place in that regard. But it's really low budget, so you forgive it for that reason. But it is really ugly, and like as a filmmaker, it's kind of frustrating sometimes to go, ooh, it's kind of and then it's all set in this house, and there's like a couple times where they go outside, but it's like clearly like we had one location, and if we're gonna go outside, it's gonna be like around the side of the house. It's very 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 low budget. I think they did it in like a week or something like that. But I still love that. I think there's a lot of really cool ideas here. I would compare it to something like Shane Carruth stuff, Primer or something like that. Yeah. Not as good as Primer, I don't think.
Primer's really good for
Primer's really great. But in that direction, headed in that like really intelligent, just interesting sci-fi thriller stuff. A lot of good genre stuff here. Definitely like a great episode of the Twilight Zone, like something like that. It actually there's this particular episode of the Twilight Zone that reminds me exactly of that. It's like where something happens in the neighborhood and all the people come out of their houses. I saw it in school. I don't remember the name. I have not seen all the Twilight Zone. I really like
something happened on Mulberry Street or maybe
yes, that's it. That episode. This reminds me of that a lot. And that's not a spoiler. It's just the tone of it. But yeah, no, it's really good. I'd recommend it. It's confusing, which is, I mean, it'll turn some people off, but I think it does some cool things, and certainly not like the best film of last year. I don't think it's that exciting, and I think because you kind of fully pretty much understand kind of what's happening by the end of it. I think that's unlike Primer or something like that, where it ends and you're just like, oh man, I need to watch that again in order to understand any of it. It's pretty coherent by the end, which is good. That's a good thing, but at the same time, some people might find that off-putting. But yeah, definitely you should see this. Just know it's a low-budget movie. It's
I want to see it. It looks really good.
I think you'll dig it. The tone of it is really good. The music is pretty good. There's not a lot of stupid stuff.
The Monsters are due on Maple Street.
Yes, that one.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, no, very interesting movie. Really interesting film. So. I always support the low budget independent stuff.
You got me hooked. I want to see that definitely.
Because I think that's a cool. I think independent movies are a cool thing. Especially when you can accomplish something that's.
If I would have seen it, I met
somewhat interesting.
Nicholas Brendan last year at the Comic-Con, and I could have brought it up. Say, hey, how was Coherence? But that's good. I want to see that. Definitely want to check it out. And
then we're gonna skip. All Cheerleaders Die is old, right?
It's a few years old, but it's really good.
Contracted is more recent, though.
Just
for time, we're gonna
okay,
go ahead
and
do Contracted, and then we're gonna skip All Cheerleaders Die, which you did say you liked, right?
Yeah, I did, and you would like it too. It's in the vein of You're Next and the Gang and Contract. Actually, they're both, the year is the same. All Cheerleaders Die.
But yeah,
the same year.
So that's confusing.
What I could do,
listening. Basically, we had a couple of movies that were on the list.
For time.
Just for time, because we need to get to our top tens. Carlos is going to review a movie called Contracted. Which is it Contacted or
no? Contracted. I just typed it in and it's like Contracted.
It's on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix.
A woman that's like a white, like silvery cover.
And it looks really creepy. It actually looks like a French film because she looks French. But really, I'll say real quick because the film's only 78 minutes long. But when we watch movies, everybody wants to like label their film, and you say, "Oh, I want to see that film." I think, and I'm a big zombie fan. I know Jeremy knows that. Grew up with Dawn of the Dead. My mom took me when I was like 7 years old, unfortunately. So I unfortunately
ruined you for life.
Ruined me for life. But this is the closest, and it's funny because iZombie is a big hit on TV now.
Oh yeah, apparently it's a big deal.
Yeah, Rob Thomas is a great dude. He's Veronica Mars and stuff. And I loved it. I saw the first 2 episodes of my sister's house a couple of weeks ago.
I actually didn't realize I didn't realize that was a show.
Yeah, it's a TV show. It's based on a comic book.
I thought it premiered at South by Southwest.
Interesting, did it?
I thought I saw that. I could be totally wrong because I went through the whole lineup of South by Southwest. Or maybe it was just reviews that had come out around the same time as it because it premiered recently.
It's about 4 episodes old. So.
Gotcha.
But I'll say this. I watched the movie really good again, and it's a low budget film, and I kept thinking it's contracted. It's contracted. iZombie. I'm just saying that in the role there was a movie called iZombie 20 years ago, and it's supposed to be Fangoria said it was the realest depiction of a zombie movie ever. Whatever. I watched Contracted. What I liked about it that it starts basic, simplistic. It opens up with somebody banging a corpse. And you don't see it. You just see the toe tag saying biohazard on the corpse's body. But the guy bangs the corpse, goes out to his car, drives to a party.
Lovely opening.
Yeah, picks up. And let me tell you something. I was eating lunch while I watched the movie. Do not eat anything watching this movie. It's very, very graphically disgusting, which is why the movie's almost believable. And basically, to make a long story short, it basically is like a realistic view of how someone would become a zombie in the time from contracting the virus till whatever. And it's like, I mean, there's scenes like, okay, again, it happens worse at the end, but she first, I know it's not a real word. It happens.
Those of you keeping track.
It gets worse at the end, but there's a scene where she's like, when she first happens, she urinates and it's hurting her, and she's there scrubbing with some ointment that somebody told her to do.
That's like
cabin fever stuff. And so she gets up, and you don't see it, or she doesn't see it, but you see the maggots on the floor under her. And later on, at the end of the film, after she has sex with his...
Hey. Spoilers.
No, it's not spoilers. She has sex with a dude, and when he pulls out, oh my God, all the maggots that fly out with him onto the floor. It's just very graphic. It's not that much of a spoiler. What you see happens.
I call it a spoiler.
All right.
I think you're good, though. I think you're good, though, because I think it's a couple years old.
It's 2 years old, but still, watch Contracted. I actually thought that it was the most realistic depiction of zombie because I was still waiting. I was saying, when is she gonna be a zombie? Or is this? And then at the end, like I said, things start to build and build and build. But I loved it. I thought, again, for a film that I was like, this French film looks stupid. It kind of slowly builds, but it builds really well.
And to be fair, he's a horror fan, so
I love horror films, and like I said,
he's allowed to oversell it as a genre fan, So
and
for
again,
those of you that don't like horror films,
this
may not be for you.
And again, if you like horror films, it's not a horror film; it's more of a gross out film.
Yeah.
If you're into gore, definitely watch this freaking movie. It's gory as hell. And like I said, I was eating lunch at the time.
What's your stance on gore in movies?
You know what? This is the perfect use of gore because it's a realistic depiction of someone becoming a zombie after a few days. And let me tell you something. You can watch gore began I'd say 1979 with Friday the 13th, and then built into the late 80s with the gore girls
B-movie stuff too.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, you can watch any of those films, and it's unnecessary. Gore used in the 80s is unnecessary. But Evil Dead's over the top. That's kind of comedic gore. And, yeah. But with movies Friday the 13th 3, where he crushes the head and the eyeballs come out.
Yeah.
That's cheesy, stupid gore.
I love that.
But I'm talking about gore used in the proper sense. Nowadays, a lot of zombies,
something that's supposed to make you go,
ooh, yeah, because
not,
because if you're watching a horror film and gore is splashing at you, you could laugh or you could say, "Oh my god, ridiculous." But in this film, it was used perfecly. Like I said, it made me not want to eat. I got sick watching it,
which some people would say, that sounds awful.
But
to gore fans,
yeah, if you're into gore, gore fans. When he said horror fan before, if you're a gore fan, watch Contracted.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to throw it in real quick. All Cheerleaders Die is a very smart a horror film, and you should watch it. It's supposed to be like a trilogy. I want to see the other two parts, but it was very good, and you'll like it because
snuck in his review.
I had to because it
got away with it.
Because I know Jeremy likes smart horror films like You're Next and such, and it's very smart. All Cheerleaders Die. I do
like horror films
and smart horror films, not dumb like Cabin in the Woods. Watch All Cheerleaders Die. Next.
Okay, so now that's it. That's not it for the podcast.
That's it.
Turn it off.
We will not go home.
We've already lost our one viewer, our one listener.
Wait, what? No. I gotta go home now.
No, so now we're gonna do our top 10s horror. So we've just been talking about horror pretty much all day long, other than Interstellar. Yeah. So top 10s. I'll let you start. You actually have your list is
in
order.
I'm in order, so I'm gonna go back. It's already 3:07. I'm surprised she's waiting for me to call for her. I know her, but Black Christmas number 10.
Oh yeah,
Black Christmas.
I have not seen it yet.
I know, and you gave it back to me because I was watching it with Cynthia.
That's right. Yeah, you had
I had my girl here. We were gonna watch it. Let me tell you something. Like I said, and I'll quickly review it. He hasn't seen it.
He needs to clarify, is it the remake or the original?
No. I will touch both of them, but this is mainly the 1974 Robert Clark. Yeah.
We do need to keep it kind of short.
Yeah, I'm going to do it quick.
No, you're
so
good.
Now the Black Christmas, what I love about Black Christmas, the original, is like you mentioned before, and then Steven Spielberg made it what it is today, what we don't see. But what I love about this movie is we don't know, from beginning to end, we will never know what the fuck happened, and we won't know that why the killer or slasher, and I'm doing air quotes, does what he does. But I will say this, and I will get the chill every fucking time. When he does talk, it's the creepiest thing that ever happens. And to this day, I could see the movie, which I think now I've seen 100 times. I always get goosebumps when, like, the way he's like making all these noises and like the first phone call he makes to the girls when it's more of a what do you call it, a sex call?
Yeah.
And then it devolves into this like horrific, and he's changing because that's another thing. The killer has all these voices he does, and at the end when Margot Killer says like something like, "Oh well, fuck you, screw you, you little dick," and then he just like stops, says in his regular voice, "I'm going to kill you," and hangs up. It's like you have all this, and then straight up, "I'm going to kill you," and hangs up, and it's just that line alone. It's like it's horrific because the guy just like hates you so much. He says that. But it's one of the creepiest horror films, and then it's set on Christmas. I mean, you have Silent Night, Deadly Night, you have Santa Claus, The Killer. All those are stupid, but this movie is so friggin' good.
I need to see this.
You got to see Black
Christmas
this
for a while.
And the only reason
I'm borrowing too many of your movies right now.
I know, right?
I'm gonna take it with me home.
And
maybe I will.
Yeah, take it because you got 6-7 months until I need it again. But I'll just throw in real quick what I did like about the remake, and it's almost shot for shot remake. It's really stupid. What I did like about the remake is that you finally do see the killer.
Gotcha.
And I did like what they did with it. It was interesting. but not interesting enough to save the remake.
Yeah, or justify it.
Justify it, exactly. But it was interesting. Yeah, go.
Go ahead. I'm actually. You're going to do your whole list. Mine's not in order, and so
okay.
This is kind of a because you actually have a list.
Yeah, I have a list. So here goes number 9.
Work off your list.
And there's another movie that he's taken already. Hasn't seen. He's taken it twice. Suspiria.
Yeah, I've borrowed this from Carlos. I have it currently, and I'm going to watch it. I did start it, and it's so great.
It is.
What I've seen of it is so great, especially like the
Dario
extreme
Argento's
violence and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, it's
talk about gore and over the top.
I'm really excited to watch this movie.
And I added it because it's the only European horror film that stands to this day. It holds up.
Is it French?
It's he's Italian. Dario Argento. Okay. It's an Italian horror film. Suspiria. You need to watch it. And like I said, chill factor, creepy factor, 100%. But Argento's such a master of color. The color,
yes,
in the beginning. Oh my god, the colors are beautiful.
And it's an old movie too.
And yeah, it's 1977,
something like that.
Yeah, 77. When you watch, and like I said, I've seen the movie a dozen times. Actually, me and my sister rewatched it because she hadn't seen it since she was a little girl, and she remembers why she hasn't seen it since she was a little girl.
It's a gorgeous film.
Oh yeah.
It's atmospheric as
atmospheric.
as it gets.
Yeah.
And if it's also the whole Italian thing. There's a recent film that's like very much inspired by a lot of the Italian horror called Berberian Sound Studio. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix.
What's the name of the film?
Berberian Sound Studio. It's a film that came out I think within the past 2 years for sure. It might have been last year. It's on Netflix, Bavarian Sound Studio, and it's not an Italian film, but it's about Italian horror. It stars Toby Jones, and directed by Peter Strickland.
Oh, and
yeah, right. And but it's just this throwback. Well, it's not a throwback. It's about a sound engineer that goes to work on. And this is not a favorite of mine. It totally fits in with Suspiria if you want it, like just from a tone standpoint, because it's paying tribute to that style of filmmaking.
Yeah,
it's about this sound engineer that goes to work on this horror film, and he's never done a horror film before. But he's a really acclaimed sound artist. And it's set back in like the 70s, I think. It's a couple decades ago, and he basically becomes just overwhelmed by the experience of making this movie, and you never see the film. You just hear it. You hear, and they have like voice actors coming in, and like they have to do the screams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's this tension underneath it all, just of like getting the film done and stuff like that. And so like if you're an artist, just in general, you'll really dig this, I think. But if you're a horror fan, I think it's atmospheric as all. It's really an incredible movie, I think. And if you have like a nice sound system, or you can watch it with headphones, do it, because it's really well mixed, and it's just an incredible technical achievement, just from a filmmaking standpoint, and just this great, tribute to a genre of horror filmmaking.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out. Yeah.
Very good. Mark Kermode actually has it on his top 10 of the decade list.
Interesting.
So it's a film that's well liked by people, and
definitely gonna check it out.
I caught it one day,
Toby
and
Jones.
I love the poster. It's on Netflix. Toby Jones is great.
I've seen both posters. Yeah,
and it's really good, very very good. And like I said with Suspiria, I think it's a perfect like double feature.
Yeah.
Watch Suspiria and then watch Berberian Sound Studio.
Well, you'll look at it, but I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll love it. I think. It's a slow burn, but it works from an atmosphere standpoint.
So number 8 is Evil Dead,
of course,
and of course
I would put all 3.
We just discussed it.
All 4 really. I love the new one too.
I do too, and I can't wait till Ash does Evil Dead too. I can't wait. But
gosh, yes.
So I will say this. I added on there, and again, it is a classic, no doubt. It is a great movie, no doubt. I put it number 8 only because, like I said, my underwear keeps running up on me. This chair.
He's having lots of behind the scenes problems today.
But it's a classic. You just heard Jeremy love all 3. Medieval Dead, Army of Darkness. I love Evil Dead.
What's your favorite?
My favorite still is always going to be the first.
Yeah.
The cheesiest is Medieval Dead.
It's the scariest, for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and it's exactly how it devolves into.
I was scared. I was genuinely terrified by it.
As a kid,
so I've always, and I've done no research into this. I absolutely love these movies though, but I've never gone and watched any of the extras on the DVDs or anything. So I could call myself not a fan for that matter. Somebody would say, "Oh, you're not a fan. You're not a fan of the series." No, but I love Evil Dead. I watched it when I was like 10 years old, I think, and I rented it from Hollywood Video. My dad was like, yeah, you should watch it. Or he didn't say, he was like, yeah, it's pretty scary, you know. I think I think because he loved Army of Darkness. That's his favorite. And so he was like, yeah, it's kind of a comedy thing. And then I watched the first one and was just horrified by it. Like, because it's got some, even though it's playful, it still has some really creepy stuff in it. The whole, like, you know, her sitting on, like,
that always gets me.
I laugh and then I'm also creeped out by it at the same time. And that's what I love so much about him. And then the gore and whatnot.
Yeah, and again, that's over the top gore, but it's perfect for that movie because it's so cheesy.
It's such an interesting franchise too, from a standpoint of like the second one, they literally just go back to it's literally a remake of the first one, but with a different tone. I love that though, because there's no other franchise has that like bizarre, and then he goes back in time for the third one.
Part 3.
You know, I mean, other franchises got lazy, like you get Jason X or whatever, which is in space, but you have those things.
Leprechaun in space.
Yeah, Hellraiser in space.
It's true.
All of these things, you know, but Evil Dead though, it just is like it has fun with the whole idea of the fact that it's a movie. I don't know. Army of Darkness does not hold up from a production standpoint. It looks awful,
horrible.
Like that's one of the cases where I kind of wish they went.
He wanted that Ray Harryhausen look, where
awful.
Actor
you can see the green screen
in the background.
Like you can see where the green screen ends.
It's ridiculous,
man. But it's good stuff.
But it was a homage to it, I think. I think it's supposed to be that way, but
no, I don't think so.
When it originally came out, no. But now he's like, yeah.
I like it. It's what I like about it, though. It gives it that charm, though. That like, especially the scene with like the midgets.
The
like,
little ones.
Awful. It looks so bad. But no, I love that series. That would probably be my favorite. Like the movies I go back to all the time. I can put them in anytime, and that's the one I can take to friends' houses and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Evil Dead anytime. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
number 7, and people might get, why is it so low on your list? Especially lovers of directors, but only because of one thing: The Shining, which is always number 7 on my list, is a great film, but it crosses a line where like it's not a horror film per se, because
I'm not
like
scared
Stanley Kubrick directs horror. It's not. It's like there are creepy things in the film, and that because like I said,
the imagery and stuff like that.
The imagery, and like I said, believe it or not, what I've come to love, and I watched it again, like I said, for the top 20 horror films of all time for Gloriana. Even the scene with him playing with the trucks, even the scene where he's playing with the trucks on the carpet. Those scenes alone, when the camera pulls out and starts to like make it seem like this kid is, that's scary to me, to know that this kid is all alone in this world. His father's insane. His mother has her head up her ass.
Yeah.
But that stuff I'm starting to appreciate. But of course, the little girls always, Danny, come play with us. Yeah. That shit.
The atmosphere works too.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. Not scary at all. Like
no,
you said.
I don't think so.
But
it's intense. I could say you could say intense. I think it actually has depth though too. I mean, I think it's an incredible film. It's probably like a lot of the ones on my list. Somebody could say Evil Dead, it's such a stupid movie or whatever. But it's so much fun that I love it.
Agreed.
The Shining though is one that's like a technical marvel. And it's got
Kubrick.
So much work for it. Have you seen the documentary, The Room?
I haven't. It's on my queue and I keep wanting to see it.
It's really good.
Everyone keeps
it's
talking
a little
about
too
it.
long. Those guys, those filmmakers they need to shorten it
a
bit.
They?
But just because I think you have one idea now, but they get into like the whole idea that I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was in that documentary or something I watched on YouTube. But they get into the whole idea about the movie being about gold and the whole gold room, like representing like this thing that's just totally boring and over my. It's like talking about finances, like in the subtext of your film is about gold, and it's like, and I don't know. There's a whole theory behind that, and there's some really really interesting arguments about that, and if it's true, really brilliant stuff, and the way he ties it into some of his other films. That's all theory, of course, but I think there's so much stuff in it that's intentional that some people complain about the helicopter. You can see the helicopter in the opening shot. Shut up! That's so stupid. But it's like it was intentional. Stanley Kubrick wanted the helicopter to be there. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Stanley Kubrick is I would say my favorite all-time director. I think, especially in terms of like the influence that he's had on my preference in filmmaking and stuff like that. But he makes mistakes sometimes too.
Of course.
And there's nothing you can't redo a helicopter shot because somebody didn't notice. That,
Yeah.
But there's all those people that are like, no, it was intentional. It was all intentional. It's like, shut up. That's stupid. Especially when there's so much. I understand the argument that there's so much that was like planned and like But no, there's I don't know. The documentary that's really great. You should watch it.
No, it's on my queue. I do want to see it. Okay, so number 6, and again, this is an achievement because it was a TV movie.
Which I have not seen.
I don't understand you. I haven't.
I'm afraid of the cover though, so I'm assuming.
I mean, let me tell you something. Like I said, I've seen TV movies. A lot of NBC and ABC always fought for Stephen King movies to make novels of. And they're always
they're awful.
Oh my God, yeah. But it happens to be and still maintains, outside of Salem's Lot, one of the greatest adaptations of a book. And the funny thing is, it leaves out so much. And the movie's 3 hours long.
I really want to read the book.
Oh my God, you got to read the book. And like I said, I'm glad because I just read that they're going to do when they're like I said, there's a scene in the book they're going to do that I've been wanting to see all my life. I know it's going to be kind of creepy. A lot of people are going to say that they should have it in the film.
That's what it's all about.
But
I want it to be creepy. I don't know what scene you're talking about. Maybe
I know, but I could, but I won't. But real quick, first off, fucking what's his name? Oh my God, quick, the guy who plays Frankenfurter.
What?
Oh my God, Pennywise the Clown.
Oh yeah.
How can I forget his name?
I have no idea. I haven't seen the movie.
But anyway, if he's not in the movie, I don't know. His depiction of Pennywise was genius. I love the fact that you have this cast of kids who was so good. Seth Green and the one who plays Bev. They're the two more, and Jonathan Brandweiser shot himself, unfortunately. But the other two ended up doing things as adults, as actors. The kids are great, and then even the adults, even like of course John Ritter, Has-Beens, the Walton guy. They're all in there. Oh my God, we just said her name before. She was in Black Christmas. All these people are in the film, and it's just so good. But again, if it's not for Pennywise the Clown, it's just such a great movie. It's scary as hell. Like him, he says he hates seeing the cover of the movie. I can't wait to see the remake this Halloween.
I don't know why I haven't watched this movie. I think it's just not available anywhere. I don't know.
Oh, I have it here. You can watch it.
Well, I need to.
Well, you can borrow it. You take my movie. I just bring them back.
Yeah, but every time I look at your shelf though, and I'm like, what should I get? What should I take?
But
I never remember. So I need to make a list. I need to make a list of things I need to borrow from you.
So for a TV movie, it actually does its job to scare you. And there are very scary scenes in the film.
Version of the Carrie remake. Oh my God.
So number 5, and one of the reasons why my decision in New York one night was, I'll go to Texas. Texas
for this reason, I'm going to Texas.
I had a lot of reasons why not to go. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I've seen the film a billion times. I love watching because every time I watch it, I catch something new about Texas Chainsaw. Very low budget film, but let me tell you something. Tobe Hooper hit it on the head with this film. I don't think he's ever achieved.
One of the scariest films I've ever seen.
Yeah, right. And like I said, he's never achieved. I saw Poltergeist again. That's also in the top 20 movies, horror films of all time. And it's good. The scene where the guy rips off his face in Poltergeist is a great scene, and you can see it being remade in the new remake. Not as scary. But
we'll discuss that.
But yeah, but the thing with Texas Chainsaw, it's just, I don't want to say it's not even atmosphere. This movie's shot on so low budget that it makes it scary. The fact that it looks so dirty and nasty and real is why the movie chills you to the bone. And like I said, going outside of the making of the film, this movie was released only in drive-ins in the beginning because they couldn't, it was all bootleggers and gangsters who funded the film. But just to think, I always think about it, it's like these kids then left, drove their car through the backwoods of Texas to go back home, and they must have shot them. It's like the movie did its job. And like I said, it's just such, Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface, such a brutish, hulking monster, and you can see how this guy, and then the scene where he's cutting up the boyfriend and he hooks the girl on the hook.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That scene is so.
And see, I don't understand why this movie hasn't been successfully redone or.
Right. Like with all the remakes,
it's one of the worst franchises I think of all time. Like I think it might be one of the, other than maybe like I think the Hellraiser stuff's really bad.
That gets
after the first one. But at least it's fun. I don't know. It's one of the. I'd say it's one of the worst horror franchises, other than maybe like Friday the 13th. But I have a special place in my heart for that. It's dumb as shit. But this is. I remember watching this when I was probably 11 or 12. And like the scene with the hooks and the scene. I think the last scene though, where like the old man, the grandfather. I have actually only seen this once, but I remember all of these things in detail. And it's horrifying. I recently bought the Blu-ray set, which has,
the 40th
other than the really awful font on the side, which I really hate. It's an awful font. Other than that, it's a really great set. There's a lot of good stuff in it.
A lot of good stuff on that.
Really cool artwork and one. So I'm gonna rewatch it. I was gonna one night, and then I forgot what happened. But it's on my list of like I have like a horror movie marathon I'm doing. And I'm going to revisit it, but I think that and this is why I love House of the Devil, Ty West's film. I know you don't love it, which I totally understand why. But those last like 7 minutes of that movie, I'll never forget. Because I just think visually it's just so strange and disturbing, and that's what I think about Texas Chainsaw, and that's why I liked House of the Devil so much, because those last like 10 minutes of that movie just are something I'll never forget in my life, and that's great horror. I mean, now the reason it's not on my list is because I don't know if it's it's not one I've watched. It's not one I'm going to watch again, because it's like it makes you feel dirty, and like that scene where where the crazy dude's chasing her and like slashing her back. That's like horrifying. I don't think I've seen anything that effective. I mean, really, that House of the Devil is the closest thing to like something that was just like, oh no, I don't like. You almost like. There's movies that scare you, but then there's movies that like really disturb you, and those are films that are at least the first one that really get to me. So I love. I think it's not on my favorites, but certainly on my best of all time. Like if I had to make my favorites list is left to campy stuff generally, things that I want to rewatch a bunch, but certainly one of the best horror films that's ever been made. Continue.
Thank you. My number 4 is, interestingly enough, a derivative of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But when it came out, you had a big director like Jonathan Demme, great actors like Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. So when Silence of the Lambs came out, I remember, the buzz based on a true story, the Buffalo Bill murders, and I remember when I saw it, I had to read the book, and then when I read the book was 10 times better. But not really based on a true story. I found out later, but definitely a great movie, Silence of the Lambs. It was creepy and scary in its own right. The whole not really the Buffalo Bill stuff, even though the whole aspect of what he did. But I mean, Anthony Hopkins, when he destroys the guards at the end of the film,
that performance holds it up. I think. You have some crazy stuff with Buffalo Bill. But the Hopkins performance is really
when he wears the guy's face later on in the movie, I which is what Ed Gein did, which is what both Texas Chainsaw and Silence of the Lambs were derivative of. Just a really good. It's great acting, great story, great everything, directing. And like I said, to this day, some of the scenes still pretty. Right? It did win, but out of all these movies, that's right.
Achievement for a horror film.
Exactly.
Now I don't know what else came out that year.
Believe it or not, it came out in 1990. Dances with Wolves.
Was it 19? Oh, it was 1990. I was thinking it was 99 for some.
No. Dances with Wolves came out. Oh wait, no. It was 91 because Dances with Wolves won. It was 91.
You're right. 91.
91 and it won. But again, like you said, an achievement. And still to this day, one of my favorite films of all time. Glorianne actually liked it, and then when she saw a couple of the other ones, she was like, nah. But she did love it.
I like it a lot. It's not on my list. I totally understand why everybody likes it. It's a iconic film. I mean, in terms of the performances. The ending kind of becomes kind of generic to me, and it might be because of how long after it came out I watched it. But when she raids the house, that whole sequence, I just never found that as compelling as all the stuff with Hopkins. So really, I think that if Hopkins were the whole film,
that's what I'm saying, and a lot of people say that to this day. That's where they start breaking down the film, and I agree. But I still love it. It's another great film, and I could watch that over and over again. The next film, which is funny. From the evolution of this film, how when I was young, it was this movie. Okay,
quick call in from a.
We got.
It's referring to Carlos's couch.
But the evolution of The Exorcist for me was, remember, a movie that scared. The fact that I couldn't watch it scared me. Like, my mother would say, "Oh, you can't see that film. Oh, you better not see it." And then I remember when I first saw it in like 1982 on HBO when it aired on HBO. I don't remember getting halfway through that movie, and I remember my mother sent me to bed, which was the worst thing because I'm in the dark in my room while they're watching the film and I can hear it. That was the bad thing. But and then how I saw it as an adult, and I watched it in film school, and then afterwards showing it to people to a point where I can actually teach the making of the film. I would teach angles, storylines, stuff like that. And now it's something in my heart because I just love The Exorcist as a movie in its whole. But, back then, this movie was terrifying, how a little girl can go from being bad to good. And I guess that's like the gist of the whole film. And, the scenes where she's masturbating with the cross.
Yeah.
1970.
Yeah, you'll never see.
3, for that to happen was unbelievable. And then, like I said, later on, even with when they redid it,
especially for such a young girl,
a 12-year-old girl,
and
then later on, when they added the spider walk scene, which was my god,
one of the best scenes. In
they redid the sound, and when I remember, I literally leaped from one side of the fucking
when the head twists around, and then does she vomit in that scene too?
Yeah. And so The Exorcist.
I don't know why that wasn't in the original cut.
Yeah, right. And it's like one of the greatest films I think ever made. It's also another film that was nominated for Best Picture, didn't win because The Godfather took the award.
Which I still think is a fair choice.
But again, it's just to see the ending of the film is rough, and I love watching the film. Like I said, Gloriana was scared of it, but by the end, again, she was bored by the chunk of the beginning because the movie's not as scary now to its adults. It's only that ending of the movie, so you have to build
second
up
half.
so for but again, The Exorcist I put up there as number 3 because it's that classic film that actually changed the way we saw horror, and that's. So I don't know if you have any thoughts.
I am not actually as big of a fan of The Exorcist. And I when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, it's so great. Mm-hmm. But then on rewatching, I think the chunk at the beginning is so I like the theatrical cut a lot more than the director's cut.
Yeah.
Other than the scenes with the girl, it's really just that opening in the desert and stuff like that. I know why it's there. I get it. I totally understand it. But it's a film that I hate to use this word, but I do think it's kind of boring.
It is. And it's slow.
But it's one of the few films where it bothers me. Normally with horror and stuff, I don't mind it. Like there's another one on your list that we'll talk about later that that is a boring film. You're first. You're number 1.
What?
No, but I have no problem with it. That's the thing.
It's
like sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I own it. And like I said, I do still like the theatrical cut a lot. And like I said, the second half of the film is just perfect. I really think the first half, all the film stuff, that it gets a little bit tedious to me.
True.
But part of that is I wasn't around to see it when it first came out, and had I saw it in the theater that's another thing. Like I could go, I might be able to go see. I've never seen this in the theater. Mm-hmm. If I saw this in a theater, that might change my mind. Mm-hmm. Like when I can really fully devote all my attention to it, and kind of like I saw Halloween in the theater, and just life-changing experience. You watch it and you're just like, I get it. I get Halloween's different. That's probably my favorite of all time. But continue. I like The Exorcist.
No, yeah. So
everyone should have it on their list. I'm one of the people that just is into it.
So I'm kind of upset that you said that. So I will say the reason why I put number 2 there is because it's one of my favorite science fiction horror films, and again, John Carpenter also directed this film. And I think it's interesting because it's all it is basically a whodunit. Or who is it?
I do have to ask for this. I have not seen this film,
which is ridiculous. I hate it because this is one of the greatest movies.
I have not seen The
Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
And so please don't spoil it because
I'm not going to spoil it.
I somehow still know nothing about this movie other than it takes place in a cold environment.
In the end,
I have started it. I've never finished it. I love the 10 minutes I've watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
This is the greatest film.
But yeah, I have not. It's the number 1 thing on my list to watch, and it was on HBO for a little while recently.
Yeah, I think I saw it when I was at work.
That's when I watched the first 10 minutes, and then I don't know what the hell I was doing. I should have. It was like a perfect time to watch that movie, and I didn't follow through. So please don't spoil anything.
What I'm gonna say
even though everyone at home that's listening to this podcast has probably seen The Thing. I'm one of the people that has not.
And what I think, without spoiling, I think what's great about the film is that as it continues, it becomes, like from the first iconic shot of when the dog, which you saw in the beginning, so the dog is where it begins, walks into a room and you see the shadow of someone turning around and then fade. And this movie has these genius fades, which I love. And it's you're like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And the scene where they start testing the blood to see who it is and isn't, and the people you think it is isn't, and then the people you're like, they become. It's just one of my favorites. I mean, friggin', like I said, why my love for Kurt Russell, my man crush. I mean, he's one of the definitive actors of the '80s. Mostly, like, of course, the anti-hero Snake Plissken, Escape from New York, and then Jake McMurphy here in this movie, The Thing. And of course, he played Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. He's just this guy that he's the everyman, but he's the cool ass everyman, and he's always coming out on top.
He's a badass.
And I love The Thing. I love Kurt Russell. I love this movie almost above the #1 movie that John Carpenter did, which is my favorite horror film of all time. But are you done with what you have to say about The Thing?
Well, I just haven't seen it. I just totally want to see this movie.
And you have to.
I'm so excited to be able to. I've kind of been holding out to see it on the big screen. And that's kind of like I would really, but
if they ever do, we're going. I mean, I want to see that.
Yeah,
that's
really the only thing that's kept me from watching it. I think it's just the fact that I really would love to. Like, I feel like it's going to be a transformative experience. If I can see it for the first time though, I did Lawrence of Arabia, I saw it for the first time on the big screen. I was just like,
well, let me know. Don't jip me and say, "Oh, I saw it. I forgot to tell you."
No, that one exclusively with Carlos Hernandez.
And my #1 film of all time, which he says is boring, but he can't deny that it's a great film.
No, it's my favorite.
Halloween.
Did I also say that?
The
Halloween. I did.
Halloween.
I think I'm on the record saying that Halloween is also my favorite film of all time. And so me saying it's boring is just. It's just part of, like, I was explaining it to you to explain the fact that I was mentioning it to explain the fact that I don't have a problem with the build when it comes to Halloween. It's slow. I think it is slow, but it totally works for me.
It is slow, and like I said, it's slow to build stuff, to build little stories here and there. I mean, just to get the shape out there. I mean, which is what he's called, the shape, not Michael Myers. I mean, he is called Myers, but in the whole reference of his shape. When you see him in the background and you see him here and you see him there, I love that stuff. And like I said, I mean, we could talk about the ending of the film when Jamie Lee Curtis's Lindsay finally walks in on the big reveal and everyone's. And this is I'm spoiler fuck you all. This is a movie 30 years old. 35. Yeah. And she walks upon the babysitter murders, as it was originally called. To this day, and like I said, rewatching it with my daughter and my niece and my girlfriend, the fact when the shape appears out of the darkness when Lindsay's crying.
Yeah.
I sit here, I'm almost crying how magnificent the shot is.
Such a great
He
cinematic.
Just literally just blends from the darkness, which what he engulfs, to the foreground, and that mask is just the only thing for that brief second before the body comes out of the darkness. It's genius. And you're like scared. And my daughter, literally, I just love looking at her because when I was a kid, I saw this movie with my hands over my eyes. I mean, my mother didn't let me watch it when it first came out, but back in the old days, movies actually was re-released every year, and this movie was re-released every Halloween up until like '82, and I saw it in '82, and I mean, it was just my daughter, like, she literally was screaming, yelling at the screen like they did in New York, like, "Oh my God, turn around!" that kind of shit, and I love that my daughter was doing that, and it's just such a great scene. That scene to this day, like. Every time I watch it, I just
the sitting up scene is my favorite. One of my the sitting up scene.
When she's there,
probably my favorite scene, and it's one of my top 10 favorite all time scenes. It's so great.
Like it's orchestrated. Like, he just like sits up one, then he slowly raises two, and then he just starts coming at her. The score. I didn't say that about the score. I didn't say that about the score. The score on both The Thing and this movie are unbelievable. I mean, the score drives the film. It's part of the film, And without it, I mean, I didn't even know what to say, but it's just...
I did a little review of it on YouTube, actually. I put a sheet on my head. You should go watch that. If you don't watch any of the other reviews, they're horrible. But certainly go watch my Halloween review, because that one I'm proud of. I rewatched that. I was like, it's me like...
I dug most of
making like I took a pencil and I did the little and then I basically sung out the it's magnificent in a terrible way. You should go watch that review on YouTube. But yeah, I love Halloween. Is my favorite film of all time. It's the one film that I do watch every single year.
Yeah,
for Halloween. So it's incredible. And,
it's great.
I saw it on the big screen, and I was so pleased by that experience. And now on my list, I'm going to briefly go through these. There's just no reason to go through all of mine. My list is actually a lot different from yours than I anticipated.
Course,
Alien.
Oh, great! I was going to put it there, but
it was still an all-time favorite horror film. Reanimator.
Oh, another classic
is amazing. I just recently saw.
Yeah, I know,
that,
and I love that you just recently.
Because I watched it and I was like, "This is a favorite film of mine. It's going on my top shelf. It's important." I love Reanimator. It's so much fun. The scene where he's carrying around his head is. It's glorious. It's a scene of cinematic joy. How ridiculously it's so much fun. I love that movie. Yeah. Scream is another one that you.
I was going to put it on. But it was too hipsterish for me. So but you know how I feel about it. I love Scream.
Oh yeah,
it reinvented horror in the late '90s. There was nothing going on until Scream came around.
It holds up. That movie. I watched it for the first time about 2 years ago, and it's again, that was another one that was like, this is a favorite film of mine. Like,
after Silence of the Lambs, Scream would be the next big thing.
Yeah. In horror. 28 Days Later, which I don't know,
it was on the list.
It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
It's not.
No.
It's not what I consider to be one of the best films ever by any means, especially in comparison to a lot of the films that are like Texas Chainsaw is not on my list.
Yeah.
Even though I do think it's a better film.
Yes.
This is just my list of favorites. It's stuff I watch.
28 Days
I rewatch all the time.
Yeah.
Seven, I think, is a horror film. I consider it to be a horror film, even though it is a thriller.
But it's a remake of Blade Runner, so we got to be careful.
Well, yeah, very much so.
David Fincher's Blade Runner homage,
and that's more of a thriller thing, vibe. But like,
I love Seven.
I think Seven's
if we did a serial killer film, that would be my top.
Yeah, it's
one.
like I would take Seven over Silence of the Lambs. I think they both have the same tone as well.
Agreed.
You know, I would say Seven disturbed me in a way that
100%.
And
the big twist at the end. It's unbelievable.
It's really
terrific.
It's an amazing film.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to rush this. And then I put Your Next on there. I've seen Your Next.
And I told you,
I
love
that
movie.
Like 10 times.
Yeah, my daughter loves Your Next. It's a great thriller.
And Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, yeah.
These are recent films, but there's still stuff that I just really. Now I love all the things on your list, of course.
Yeah,
I would still say I love The Exorcist, even though it doesn't work for me as well as some people as it does for others. Yeah, so I mean, my list just consists of a lot of things that I watched. But
they're all good.
Well,
I think your list is the modern horror film, or as I call it.
I still have Evil Dead, Halloween, The Shining, Scream, Alien. Well, Scream would be modern, but Alien. I mean, all the ones on your list could totally be on my list. So
remember, I mean, we talk about film. We start horror film in 1898 with The Cabin of Dr. Caligari. So from Night of the Living Dead, 1968 till now, that's called a postmodern horror film. So every movie you have on your list is basically postmodern horror, as was mine. But I think when we talk about classics, mine are more considered classics by people my age.
Yeah.
Where yours are the new classics, and there's nothing wrong with anything on your list. I think. Actually, it's good because adding Your Next would then bring it full circle to the Scream, which is the beginning of the hipster horror film, to Your Next, which I think is like the all-time hipster horror thriller, I should say, even though it does play as a horror, comedy horror. So, but
but like I said though, I mean, like I just have watched these more than some of the iconic great films that I still think are amazing. Just
of course,
like The Exorcist and some of those things. So. I don't think I think we're totally on the same page. I just threw in some of the ones that.
But I'm glad you did that
because I've literally watched Your Next like 10 times
Yeah, I've
since
watched
it came
about
out.
4 or 5 times.
You know, so it's like I
on
can't
Netflix.
deny the fact that I really love that movie. So
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to wrap it up though. This is episode 12 of Indecisive Cinema.
Yeah.
We'll be coming back again next week.
Next week again.
I don't know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to figure that out
We'll
some other time. But
this is good. I like List. List gives us structure, and it also gives us time to go back and forth, banter.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad you guys liked this episode. Tune in next week for episode 13. That was good. Yeah. It's not going to be horror related.
Maybe, yeah, probably not. But maybe we'll figure something out.
Yeah. So until next time, I'm Carlos Hernandez.
And I'm Jeremy Knight.
And this was Indecisive Cinema.
Can't even get the
episode
name
12.
right.
I know my tongue.
All right, guys.
Bye.